Yeah, I just seen this video of a woman who posted on TikTok and said that she just asked for, so I feel like that's the reason why she's feeling the way, right? So she
Welcome to The Wall. In today's video, we'll go over several stories of divorced women, from the one who wants to leave her marriage because she's bored to the one who admits she left a good man because he didn't want to financially support Chad's kids. Smash that like button. Help us reach 170,000 subscribers before the end of the year. Share your experience and wisdom in the comments. We'll pin the best one for the whole community. And without further introduction, let's get started.
Yeah, I just seen this video of a woman who posted on TikTok and said that she just asked for a divorce from her husband because she felt, God, I don't know how to say this without it kind of sounding a little crazy, because she felt like she wanted and expected kind of to feel and have more out of the relationship than she felt she has currently. Mind you, I think she's been married, I think she said 10 years. They have kids together. She said, he's perfect. Does this sound familiar? Because this sounds like a video of mine that blew up not long ago about me talking about the woman who divorced her husband and then regretted it later. Okay, listen. So she said, he's a perfect human being, perfect man, kind, respectful, patient, all this amazing stuff she was saying about him. Amazing father. No complaints there. Is there anything he's got to work out in those work on in those areas? She said no, absolutely not. He's fantastic. But she feels that, kind of like, she didn't say this. This is kind of what I gathered from it. She's bored. She's bored of the same old thing going on in her life. Mind you, they live a very, very good life, okay? They look like they're well off. They look like they're doing phenomenal in life, all right? So you've got this amazing man as a husband, and you've got kids with him, and he's an amazing father. Yet you just asked for a divorce from him because you're bored. So, yep, guess what? The comments, they got on her ass. They said, look, you have a healthy relationship, and healthy in the long run equals feeling boring, okay? But that's the goal in life. When you feel bored in your relationship, you've got a fucking amazing relationship, because there's nothing that the other person is doing or that you are doing to the other person that causes you to be stressed out, have drama, cheating. She said she didn't say any of this was going on.
Stop it. Get some help.
You can give a woman stability, money, and a healthy family, but you know what you can't give her? Comfort. Because comfort, for a woman, is boring. Even when she has everything she needs to be happy, she always ends up dreaming of adventure, of youthful partying, of escaping the monotony. They get tired of a stable relationship and start looking to get back into dating, traveling, running away from the responsibilities that come with being a wife. Because for many, responsibility is kryptonite. That's why the harsh reality hits later. When everything falls apart, they ask themselves, why is this happening to me?
So I feel like that's the reason why she's feeling the way, right? So she kind of was asking for advice on if other people feel that way, on what she should do, on should she continue her relationship. Well, her husband was like, look, let's try to make changes. Reiterates what a good man he is. Let's try to work on things. I'll try to do things differently. See if, it'll spark something in you that'll want to keep you in the relationship. He loves her to death, and she says she loves him to death. Like, like I said, it all comes down to boredom. What the fuck is going on with people? All this social media stuff, and I feel like just so much shit goes on in relationships, and they don't last because, honestly, the simpler the relationship, the fucking better. Like I said in the past video, if you want something intense and interesting, spice it up. You got to do something different at that point. It doesn't seem like he's doing anything wrong. It just seems like you are now like fetching for, okay, look, one of the comments said, you have 80% looking for a 20. Don't leave that 80% going to look for a 20, because you're never going to be satisfied. Like, I believe that 100%. Once you hit a level in your relationship of certain years, it can feel like you're stagnant, like you're bored, like nothing new is going on in your life. And she said, like, she felt she was trying to still find herself as a human being. Girl, I'm so sorry. Okay, I was about to say some shit, but she would be making a big mistake if she left her husband looking for that 20%. The fun, you want the fun, and then when you get the fun, you're gonna wish you had him after you had the fun. So might as well take his ass and go have the fun with him. Because as soon as you leave that man, he gonna find somebody and they gonna snatch him up real quick. Right? It sounds very familiar. But ladies, I feel like that if you've been in a long-term relationship and you want something new in your life, do something that'll make it feel new. Do something that'll reignite the I feel like it's the romance. You feel me? Like, after a certain amount of years, like, the romance kind of feels like it dies down a little bit. You have to do shit to make the romance stay alive. And now after that, if shit's not going down and yeah, you can't find the romance and you don't want to be in a boring relationship, then at least you tried. Which they are trying. They said they're trying. Now though, after the video, she's posting all these wonderful things about her husband and how she's happy, she's choosing to stay and fight. Ooh. Or sometimes you just need those a million other people in the comments telling you, bitch, get it together. Remember what this is about. You want a boring life for real. Because if you had somebody that was cheating on your ass 24/7 and was just party, not wanting to take you serious or want to settle down or not wanting to help you with your kids or none of that, or wanting to pay the bills or none of that, you would be in a different point in life right now. You'd be praying to God that you had the man you had. Just saying. Ladies, don't do that shit. Don't do that shit.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
Have you noticed that many women are addicted to dopamine? It's no coincidence that you see beautiful women tied to men who aren't worth anything. They don't offer stability or a future, but they do give them something they crave like a drug: instability, anxiety, and uncertainty. That unpredictable man becomes their biggest hook, because what's stable, safe, and consistent, for many, eventually turns into boredom. And that's when they walk away from a solid marriage to chase that 20% adrenaline rush. 3 months of fun, and then comes the crash, regret, and a life in free fall. That's why I always say, men need to invest in themselves. Because the modern woman gets bored of everything. Today she wants excitement, tomorrow she wants security, and in the end, she doesn't know what she wants. And if you're not steady on your path, you'll pay the price for her instability.
Women.
See, y'all have been asking me this question for a bit, so I'm going to go ahead and cook for y'all real quick. The question of the day is, why are older men only seeking after younger women nowadays? Why are older men only seeking after and trying to date younger women nowadays? They want a doormat. Short and sweet answer, they want a doormat. And a lot of those older men, they try to hide it and disguise it in a way where, man, these younger women, man, they don't come with all of the baggage. They don't come with the trauma. They don't come with all that drama. They're not set in their ways, and they're easier to mold into a doormat. They want to mold a young woman into a doormat, and it's intimidating. It's hard on them to date a woman that's their age range, because the woman that's their age range is tapped into what I call God-ordained woman's intuition. They can spot it from a mile off. They know the trickery, they know the manipulation tactics, and they will call you out on it. And they don't want to deal with that. So they'll rather deal with a young woman that has not tapped into her divine, feminine, God-ordained woman's intuition. They haven't seen the mind games. They haven't faced the trickery yet. So they're easier to mold. They're easier to manipulate. You didn't see what you just saw, young woman. You didn't see what you just saw. And they put you back into the sunken place. Y'all remember that movie, Men in Black, Will Smith? He used to have that flashlight with a little beamer stick and flash it and make people forget what they just saw and convince them that they didn't see aliens. They didn't just deal with UFO phenomenons and all that. That's what they do with these younger women. And don't be a younger woman and you don't have your dad in your life. You don't have no masculine father figure or anything like that. Oh man, that makes it even better. That makes it even easier. I can isolate you from your family. I don't have to deal with no masculine energy or none of that stuff. I can isolate you. I can manipulate you. I can financially abuse you and just have you and mold you to be under my wing. And a lot of them don't want to admit that. A lot of these older men, they're on this passport bro energy, but they don't have the passport bro money and resources. They on this passport bro energy, but they don't have the passport bro money. Meaning they may be on child support, they may be on papers or something like that. So they can't go overseas. So they'll get with the young woman over here that they can easily mold into a doormat.
At the end of the day, a lot of men simply look for younger, more attractive women, and there's nothing wrong with that. Society makes a big deal when a 40-year-old man dates a 25-year-old woman. But if a 40-year-old woman dates a 25-year-old guy, everyone applauds. Total double standard. The truth is, these women know exactly what they're doing. They're not naive. If they choose to be with an older man, it's because they're looking for experience, stability, and leadership. And that's what stings the most for many, that their career, independence, and achievements don't automatically make them more attractive to a successful 35 or 40-year-old man. They don't want to accept it, but it's simple. High-value men have options, and when that happens, they get to choose.
Because I'm 33, how am I being perceived by men as I'm dating? Okay, so if a guy meets me and doesn't know anything about me, he doesn't know that I am not the girl who likes to jump right into a relationship. I like to take my time. I like to get to know somebody. Is he going to make assumptions about me because of my age? Right? Is my age now going to work against me in a way that I never really thought about when I was younger? And I'm only going to get older, hopefully. As I get older, if I'm still single, is it going to weigh more on dating? I was like, do I need to add something to my profile that's like, I'm, casually looking for something serious. I'm not trying to have a baby tomorrow. Right. And that's a whole other mental load on a single woman who's dating.
Also, I think the silver lining is it opens up another category of men that we just perhaps didn't think about before. Mm-hmm. Like men who are maybe a few years older than us. Maybe they already have a child. So they are not as freaked out by like the consequences of like having a kid and like they're life changing.
You know why so many men today avoid women over 30? It's not hate. It's just that many of them already have their life set, their routine, their comfort zone, and they're not going to change it for a man. That means any adjustment will be slow and full of conditions. And most of them won't leave their comfort unless there's a commitment involved. Then there's the issue of kids. Some men want to start a family, others don't. And here comes the clash. Many women over 30 want kids, and fast. Others, on the other hand, either can't anymore or prefer to avoid it. That's why they often end up dating single dads, men who've already been through it and are more flexible, whether it's having another child or not having any at all. But here's the reality. If you let time go by and hit the wall without having built what you wanted, it gets much harder afterward. Because, like it or not, the wall doesn't forgive.
If you are an unhappily married woman who secretly contemplates divorce, this video is for you. And if you're not an unhappily married woman who contemplates divorce, I need you to watch it anyways. Maybe this will help you in the future, or maybe you know someone who needs to see this video and who you can share it with. Today would be my wedding anniversary, but instead I have been divorced for 6 years. I am the biggest fan of divorce. Can't advocate enough for it, and so I wanted to share some things with you that might be happening that are signs that it is time to get divorced. I once asked an older former coworker of mine who had been divorced how I would know it was time to get divorced, and she told me that when you're asking people how to know when it's time to get divorced, then it's time to get divorced. And so that's the first one. If you are asking people when to get divorced, it's time. But here are some other signs that it's time as well. Let's start with the one that I hope is the most obvious. If your husband or spouse, partner, whatever, is abusive in any way, shape, or form. There are like 9 different types of abuse: financial, physical, mental, all of that. If they are abusive in any category, it is time to get divorced. Aside from that, if you are Googling divorce laws in your state, it's time to get divorced. If you find yourself wishing that they would just randomly die, time to get divorced. If you are lying to your friends and family about how they treat you so that they aren't hated, time to get divorced. If you question whether you're the problem, then it's time to get divorced. If you find yourself saying he's not always like this or they're not always like this, time to get divorced. If you find yourself pretending to be asleep so that you can avoid them, time to get divorced. If you have any signs of PTSD or anxiety, wondering when they come back, if you're hearing footsteps and you wonder if it's them, if you are, hearing a car drive by and you're wondering if it's them, time to get divorced. If you just know that your life will be exponentially easier and lighter and more enjoyable without them, then it's time to get divorced. And if you're staying because you're afraid of the logistics of getting divorced, if that sounds overwhelming to you, then it's time to get divorced. If you have stopped dreaming and you're saddened by the idea that your life may forever be the way that it is right now and things may never change, then it's time to get divorced. Now, if you've made it this far, thank you for watching. And if you're divorced, go ahead and drop some others in the comments to help a girl out. And if you're thinking about getting divorced, just go do it. But before you go do it, go talk to every single lawyer, even the most expensive ones, even the ones you can't afford, just so that your spouse can't use them. So I hope this helped.
Here we see the classic example, a bitter woman whose only advice is get divorced. Of course, misery loves company. And pay attention to the detail. She doesn't just tell you to leave your husband. She also advises you to talk to every lawyer you can, even the most expensive ones, just to block your husband from hiring them. That's not advice, that's manipulation. The irony is that she talks as if marriage isn't supposed to have problems. If your first instinct is to run at the first sign of trouble, you never understood what marriage really means. No long-term relationship is perfect. The difference lies in who weathers the storms and who jumps ship. And the cherry on top, this woman's been divorced for 6 years, and on the exact day that would have been her anniversary, she decides to bring it up in a video. That's not healing, that's emptiness. If you really wanted to leave your marriage behind, why are you still celebrating the ruins? They do this, and then wonder why the regret hits later.
I left the man that I loved for the man that I deserve. I was in a relationship for 10 years and decided to leave that relationship because he was no longer the man of my dreams. He was a good boyfriend and he never cheated on me, and we were good to each other. But when it came to alignment and what I deserved and what I wanted and saw for myself and my future kids, I wanted to give my kids the best possible father I could, as well as like the best possible life I could give them. And love is not enough for that. So I left. It took me years of contemplation, but now I am in pursuit of finding the man of my dreams again, and somebody who will give my children and me the best possible life. Because at the end of the day, it's not about what you want, it's about what you deserve and what you plan on giving yourself. Because you're young, you're hot, you might as well live your best possible life, especially the one life that you have, the one body that you have, the one like time period that you have. Like, don't waste it away on settling.
Oh, hell no!
In short, she left a good man because he didn't want to cover the expenses of Chad's kids. Honestly, how empty are so many women today to say they only have a body, and that since they still have a firm ass, they should make the most of it and lock down a beta provider to take care of someone else's children. Because she's out there looking for the man she deserves, brothers, the one who'll pay for her mistakes, who'll raise kids that aren't his. You can tell she's searching for the one, jumping from man to man. Along the way, she ended up with kids, but the hunt doesn't stop. A real strong single mom. All I'm saying, brothers, don't be the man she deserves. Because the value of a body doesn't make up for the weight of carrying another man's sins. We've reached the end of the video, but before we go, the questions are for you. What do you think about the story of the woman who wants a divorce just because she's bored? What does it say about the woman who's out there looking for the man she deserves? If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. Your support means the world to us and motivates us to create more content. Stay tuned for the next exciting video from the wall.